It's Friday night. Yes, and you know what that means? It's time for Around the Table with your host, Vision Coach Alicia. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight on this Friday night, looking out at the Christmas lights and realizing that the year is almost, not quite yet, but almost over and ready to go into 2024. And I get so excited every Friday night because I have an opportunity to come and sit and talk to you and have you meet a very special guest, someone that comes and sits with me also. And tonight is no different. I am going to bring up tonight a very special guest, and we're going to sit around the table and just talk. Are you ready? So get ready. Here she comes.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Iris Wright. How are you?
I am doing well.
Yes, I am so excited that you decided to come and sit with me and chat with me tonight on Around the Table from Virginia,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Yes. Listen, we get so excited here at Around the Table because we never know too much information about our guests. I don't interview them first and bring them on because I like them to have their own show and everything to be spontaneous. So, guess what? I need you to tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Alicia. My name is Dr. Iris Wright. I am a serial entrepreneur, author, speaker, um, mother, wife, grandmother. Um, I
Girl, you don't look old enough to be a grandmother.
I am a grandmother. Um, and I'm excited to be here today. To give you the tea about everything I've been doing and what's been going on, and how we're going into 2024. So I'm super excited.
And we are excited to hear. I know one of the things that I am going to speak to you about tonight is your book.
Yes.
And it's called Injustice, correct?
Yes.
We're going to speak a little bit about your book, and then we're going to get into some other things about you because you're an author, you
Mhm.
are a speaker. Listen, and one of the greatest things is to be a grandmother. I am a grandmother of two myself, so I understand. I call them my grand lovies.
Yeah.
That's who they are to me. And now that we're getting into the holiday season, it's a time for family, and so of course we're going to want to enjoy our family. But let's start about talking about your book a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your book, Injustice.
Yes, I have a movement called Injustice. And we bring people in that book that have experienced some type of injustice. It doesn't matter what type of injustice it is. It doesn't matter what type of injustice it is. Um, we bring them in. So my whole thought process with that is we want to help people heal so they can evolve. Um, Sometimes we go through things in life like injustice and we get stuck.
Hmm.
And I was stuck for 20 years. I am an injustice survivor. And
Okay.
it took me until 2023 to be able to talk about what happened to me,
Hmm.
to talk about what happened to me, and to be able to know that I had to heal, because like many other people, we put everything in a box. And when we put it in the box, we're thinking, "Oh, we're okay. It's over now. We done went through the storm. We're fine." Until certain things start happening, like where those things have to come up and you have to dig deep to pull them up again, and you realize, "Oh man, I still have some work to do."
Yes.
And that's kind of what happened to me. I realized that a closed wound is not a heal wound.
Ooh, that's good. A closed wound is not a healed wound. That's really good.
Yes. So I started writing one of my first projects. Um, it was a good project, beautiful book. I didn't. wasn't a good experience for me, but what I did get out of it was it gave me the courage and the strength to start writing. And I got some type of relief or healing from that, and I just kept writing. So I became the visionary of my own project, and I also joined other people's anthologies as well. So from January was my first project. I am about 20 books in from January until now. I
Uh-huh.
have several projects of my own that I do. And February 10th, we're launching our Injustice Volume 2 of our anthology. Uh,
Oh,
yes, so with our anthologies, we we have a big celebration. I go all out when it comes to the celebration because I want that day to feel special. We have it in Williamsburg, Virginia on an 88,000 acre golf course, overseeing the water. We have everything from servants and butlers, all the meals are catered. We have live performances, poets, 360 photo booth. Let give the speakers a platform. I'm sorry, the authors the platform to actually speak as well. Let
that's awesome.
use
Hmm.
their voices and understand that their voice is very powerful, and it's
Yeah.
important for them to know how to speak, and that they do have a voice because a lot of times when we go through stuff like that, we're silenced. We don't think that we have a voice and we're afraid to say something, right? Because we don't know how people are thinking or feeling about us at this given time. And I had to get to the point in my life where I said, I don't care how people feel or think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a time that you got to just think about yourself because when you were going through things, no one was going through it with you. People have a lot to say, but when you were in pain, they wasn't in pain with you. So you have to figure out your own way of healing. And I know that God didn't allow me to go through what I had to go through to keep it to myself. So I know I'm supposed to help other people.
Yes.
So that was very important for me to be in this place where I'm at peace, and I'm able to talk and share my story and be able to help other people. Um, April of this year, my book "Injustice: My Story" will also drop as well.
April of 2024.
Yes, I'm gonna release that book on my birthday.
On your birthday. Awesome. Now let's go back. You said that it was a movement that you're creating. What is it that you hope to accomplish by creating a movement and having um, other people involved with you in this movement?
Well, one thing is I want people to know that they're not by themselves. I want them to have a place to go when they need someone to talk to, someone
Yeah.
that's going to actually listen to them and not say, "Oh, get over it." Someone to actually listen to them. A lot of times when we're faced with injustice, our families and friends turn their back on us, and we're often by ourselves. I also want people to know and understand the process of their healing. So sometimes we all heal differently, and sometimes people try to tell us how to heal or how to
Come
move
on.
on.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we have our own way. Everyone is different on how things should be done and how we should heal. So I want them to get to know that, and I want them to feel comfortable talking about it too. I want them to know that they did nothing wrong. You know, they did nothing wrong. This happened to them,
Hmm.
but it's our job and our responsibility to fix it so we can move on. We can't stay there. So I think that's one of the hardest parts because we get stuck and we have problems with trust. We have problems with connecting with people.
Yeah.
We kind of stay to ourselves and alone. We don't really do a whole lot of that. So these last few years was very important for my healing process as well because I had to get uncomfortable, especially being an entrepreneur. I knew that I had to trust people and I can't constantly be thinking bad about everybody that comes in my way. I
Yes.
had to get that understanding. So I think God helped me with grace, giving me grace and being able to experience some things and know that people had grace with me, and in my downtime that I need to understand and see when someone else needs that grace as well. Uh,
Exactly.
So it was very important to me to be able to to see this whole vision here and say, hey, I'm not the only person. January, I went live and I told my story for the first time. Everyone started contacting me about their stories. I sat on the phone with people for hours. I cried with people. I talked to people. Just, and very understanding. Um, and I think because I've been through it and I'm the people's person, I'm more relatable. People can, I can relate to them. They can relate to me. And it's no judgment here. It's a judgment-free zone. Like we're trying to get through this together. And that's a big deal. Even if you think you haven't been through any type of injustice, when someone comes to you, you still need to be a little more understanding as people.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
right now, listening is like the hardest thing in the world for people to do. Even the most educated people never listen. For some reason, they want to be heard, but they don't want to listen.
Yes, that's an excellent point. Now, and you've said this has been a process of over 20 years of dealing with this injustice, of healing, of finding a place of rest actually in it. And I also want to use the word release, because when you start to tell others your story, when you start to be in that place and position and have the freedom to speak about what you have gone through, that is when the healing actually starts. But when we set things aside and we're told, oh, you shouldn't talk about this, or oh, it happened over 20 years ago, and they don't give you the space nor the grace for you to grieve what has happened or what has gone through. And a lot of times when people hear the word injustice, definitely the first thing their mindset will go to the justice system. But there's other forms of injustice that people deal with in their everyday lives. It could be an employment situation. It could be, with a marriage. And so it's so important what you said, that people get into a space and a place where they have someone that they can actually speak to, that's going to listen and not just want to talk. So
Yes.
I found that that is really good. That's great.
Yes. And that's the unique thing about our book, because when people do hear injustice, they think the justice system, even though a lot of it do come from the justice system. I tell people that injustice has no color. Injustice also, it could be in our homes.
Yes.
We have um authors in our book that have experience where they have been abused and raped, prostitution, as a child, and was held in bondage, you know, unable to heal from that. That's an injustice, you know.
Yes.
We have another one in our book now. She's survived. She's a human trafficking survivor. And over top of her getting through that, especially as a young girl, getting put in that situation as a young girl, get through it, to find out that after she gets through it, she's going to be arrested with a felony charge that's going to hold her for the rest of her life.
Wow.
That's an injustice. So it's so many ways. We have another one in our book. Her son was killed a couple years ago. Lady ran the red light. The city said because he was on a dirt bike that they would not charge the lady for killing her son. That's an injustice. So we all go through something. And whether we felt it, sometimes I think some of us walk with with, with our eyes closed and not pay attention, or sometimes it's normal. Certain things are normal that are not supposed to be normal, and we think it's
Normal.
okay, and we do
Yes.
not see that as an injustice.
Exactly. We
Uh,
just accept it as something that occur or happen, rather than viewing what really is going on in the situation that the person is dealing with. You're absolutely right.
yeah, so that's the hardest thing with what we're doing, because people don't like to have these hard conversations. They don't want to talk about it. I don't, it's many reasons why they don't want to, but we need to, and that's why it's happening more. We need to keep talking about it. We need to be helping our people heal from it, because hurt people hurt people. These people that are hurt, they're in the communities, they're with our children. They're our next door neighbors. So we need to be helping one another, and we definitely need to have respect and grace for one another. So,
Yes, yes.
um,
So within the book, the anthology part of the book, how many women got together on this project with you?
in our first book, we all was women but one, so it was 6 women. In this next book, we're all women. All 7 of us are women. In this book, um,
Mm-hmm.
I- and just to tell a little bit about my story, I was 18 years old. I was accused of a crime. I had, I think, 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors or something like that. I'm not looking at everything right now, but I was facing over 20 years in jail
Okay.
for a crime I didn't commit. That crime was against my daughter. I was lied on. My daughter was taken from me. It took me almost 5 years to get her back. My daughter was 7 years old when I got her back. When I got her back, my daughter had a sexual transmitted disease. So when I got her back in a place that we were supposed to be bonding and healing together, I had a broken child
Yes.
now. So it was a different outlook on things, because I can't think about, you're not really thinking about bonding and healing, and I'm thinking about how can I help her,
Yes, yes.
and how can I keep her safe. And I felt um, robbed again, because a mother is supposed to protect their child. That's what we do, and I felt robbed of that. I felt like somebody just ripped that away from me, took that away from me. And being talked a lot about rape and molestation as when I was younger, because of everything my mother had been through. It was kind of dear to me to make sure that my children, all of my children, are protected. So it hit differently. It felt like, okay, the first injustice where you're being lied on, at first you're thinking, it's no way. And what happened in that case was, I went and picked my daughter up from her family, her dad's family, his mom and everything. And I ended up getting her in a safe place to give her a bath, and my daughter opened her legs and said, "Mommy, look," and she has sores in between her legs.
Mm.
I ended up taking her to the doctor the next morning. The doctor told me she had impetigo skin disease, but her dad's family, I guess, didn't believe that, took that as a right to take her from me, and
Yeah.
they called the police. And I'm thinking, like, I just got her back last night. I took her to the doctor. I did what I was supposed to do. So it's no way that they're going to charge me with anything. But that's not true.
Wrong.
Yeah,
Wrong. Yeah.
that was terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go through that whole process. And not only was it a process to where the legal system was wrong, but also I had to learn some lessons in there as well. Because that family, we grew up together. I called his mother my mother.
Wow.
So the thought that someone that close to me, that said that they cared about me, would do that to me or allow me to go through that, was very painful as well.
Yes.
But when you're young and teen, you got a little naive, you don't listen. My mother told me, certain things about getting close to them, and she heard things and different things, and I didn't listen. I just thought she wanted to keep me away from them. That's what I wanted my kids to be with, their father. And I didn't listen. So God has a weird way of saying, hey, you need to honor your mother, right? You need to
Yes.
listen, because they've been through some things. you know so sometimes we
And they're
got to.
speaking from experience a lot of times, and because we are finding our way, and we're in a certain place in our lives, we really think we know what we know. And they're
Yeah,
just saying what, they're just talking. But
yeah,
at having your daughter taken away from you, going through this entire process, and how is the relationship and everything now?
Um, we go through. I mean, we here. It's definitely a work in progress, but
Okay.
I don't think it really has a lot to do with me. I think it has something to do with her finding herself right
Okay.
now.
Hmm.
It's just some things that I may not understand. So I pray every day that God helps her find that part in her where she
Okay.
can sit down and work on herself. But she's here, and
Okay.
she recently moved closer to me. So she's in Virginia now. She was on the shore.
Okay.
So I trust that God has his reasons to bring her close to me.
Okay. Listen, you are sitting with myself and my guest this evening. I am Vision Coach Alicia, and my guest is Dr. Iris Wright. You're sitting around the table, and we are having a discussion tonight on her book called Injustice. And as we were just talking, we want you to understand that when we talk about the word injustice, we're not just talking about the system, the court system, but there can be so many different types of injustice. Iris has a movement because her goal is to help those and listen to people who need to talk about their experiences and what they have gone through. So I want to invite you to just stick with us for a little while and hear this conversation out. Dr. Wright, let me ask you this question. When you sat down to write your book, how long did it really take you to really put your book together and you feel good that it was ready for publication?
Oh man. Um, it's been I want to say my chapter, especially in the anthology and this book has taken some time because I'm giving details about different parts. I don't want to just tell the situation. I want to go over the mental health of it. I want to go over other things in it. And I'm also want to make sure I put receipts in there. So even in my anthology, I put some receipts, I put some court documents in there. I put some things in there.
Okay.
So people could be able to see. And I want to make sure that I'm giving accurate information as well, because going through this process has caused for me to have some trauma. Um, and some things that, I'm connecting as well. For instance, at one point, I went through almost 10 years of counseling. And at one point, I forgot how old I was. I lost 3 years somewhere. And the weirdest thing was, I was pretty sure was what my age was when I was talking to her.
Yes.
So I thought I was going crazy. I thought that was another thing that
Wow,
was
that's
happening to me.
interesting.
And
Yes.
she kept asking me, "How old are you?" And I kept telling her. And I'm thinking, like, why does this woman keep asking me how old I am?
Yeah.
So before I left, she said, "What happened the last 3 years?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She gave me a calculator. She said, "Find out, this is how old you are. What happened the last 3 years?" So it's a lot of conversation that you people don't understand that you go through when you experience certain type of things. Even myself, I had to figure out. I thought I was going crazy. Say what has happened, but when you're constantly moving, you're fighting, you're going through life. I'm going through the court. I'm going through trial. I'm trying to get my daughter back. All of this stuff is happening at one time. I have to work. I have other kids. I think it's like you in survival mode.
Yes, and it becomes like you're existing instead of living.
Yes.
So in that place you start to lose timing, who you are, and then what sets in is I think I want to use the word confused. You
Yeah.
become confused in the process because when you go through trauma, when you go through those type of situations, sometimes we prefer to block certain things out,
Yeah.
and it causes us that loss of time because I've been there,
Yeah.
where I just block certain things out and I just put a couple of years away that I didn't want to deal with. So I totally understand. And the injustice is, You do yourself an injustice when we don't recognize and realize that we really need help. And as African Americans, a lot of times we're not, the first choice is not to run to a therapist or to have uh, even think about it as a mental health process.
Yes.
And so I commend you for the work that you have done and what you are continuing to do right now. Do you happen by any chance to have a copy of the book near you?
Yes.
Can we
Hold
see
on.
the cover?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Can I move? I can move around a little
Go
bit.
right ahead, grab the cover and come back. Listen,
Okay.
you are listening to Around the Table, and my guest tonight is Dr. Iris Wright. And we are actually talking about injustice. She's sharing her story about her injustice and why she feels that it's really important to help others. So often we let things just sit on the back burner without really addressing situations and addressing things that are actively happening in our lives. And as we said, injustice can be something that's happening in your home. It can be something that's happening in your marriage. It could be an abusive situation. It does not necessarily mean that you're dragging yourself through court with something, but an injustice is when someone is taking advantage of a situation for their own benefit. So tonight, Dr. Iris Knight, Wright, and I are
Hmm.
sitting here. We're talking about her book. We're talking about the anthology that she wrote with some other women. And we're also discussing her that she is actually writing the book. And as let me ask you this. When you started to write the book, did you start to feel that writing for you was therapeutic?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's why I kept going because like when I wrote in the first project, I started writing and I started, feeling something. I always enjoyed writing, but it was different at this time. And so I said, you know what? Let me start writing my story. Let me start, going through this again. And I started writing. And then we came up with I started working on this injustice anthology and I just kept writing. I'm in so many books. I'm in another book called Girl Don't Count Yourself Out, where I talk about the bond that me and my daughter have and how that was taken from me, called A Broken Bond. So, but I talk about different things in the book about my injustices. Um, and I felt a release because before I wouldn't be able to talk to you like this right now without crying,
Wow. Yeah.
without being able to release or whatever. And there are some things that I had to learn. One, when we go through these things and are treated like that, sometimes we forget how beautiful we are.
Ooh,
So
it's good.
one thing I had to practice before this is I had to look in the mirror every day and tell myself that I was beautiful. So even if other people are telling you that you're beautiful, that doesn't mean that you believe that. Someone can't make me believe something that I don't believe.
Yes.
So that starts within. So I tell everybody the first thing to do is you have to believe that you're beautiful and that you're worthy,
That's
right?
awesome. The word of God tells us that we're fearfully and we're wonderfully made.
Made, yeah.
And actually, today, I had a conversation with someone, and the Holy Spirit told me to tell her this: go get yourself a mirror. Go
Mhm.
get yourself a mirror that you like. And roses is her thing. I said, and just drape the mirror in roses,
Mhm.
sit it somewhere where you can look at it and you could see yourself and let God remind you of how beautiful you really are.
Yes.
And that's what I told her today. And so that tonight for me is confirmation here. And you say that so often we have to be reminded of
Mhm.
how beautiful we are. So do you have the book?
Yes. Oh, can you see it? Hold
Oh,
on.
your background is not going to allow us to see. Just
Oh, yeah.
oh, there you go, there you go. Just hold it like that, and we could see it. It's called Injustice. Listen, I want you all to be able to get this book. I'm going to put it where you can contact Dr. Wright. You can email her at sales@iris-wright.com,
Yep.
or you could go to the website iris-wright.com. How much is the book?
24.99.
$24.99. And can they get it anywhere else other than on your website?
We do have it in Hampton, Virginia, and Barnes and Nobles, Newport
Uh-huh.
News, Barnes and Nobles, and Paperback Ink and Newport News.
Okay, awesome. So listen, if you want to follow more of her story, please make sure that you contact her via email or website. We're going to get back to the book, but right now I just want to go into a different area
Hmm.
of conversation with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your life as an entrepreneur. Tell us what your life is like as an entrepreneur. What is it that you do, and what is your life like as an entrepreneur?
I own a home care company called Karen Hart's Telecare. We provide seniors with home care services using innovation and technology. So I'm a big believer in keeping people independent. I don't want to see them decline. So what we have done is a lot of us are not educated that um or I'm not going to say not educated. We know what we should be doing, but it's certain things that we can do before things get bad.
Mm,
And that's the same thing with senior care. We don't want them. A lot of times when agencies get the phone call, they get a phone call when the client is declined or real sick. They had a stroke, they had a heart attack, something's going on major. I get people generally before that happens, or if they start to decline because their blood sugars starting to go crazy or something's happening, I can try to reverse that. So using technology, we put technology in the home. Some of our clients don't need a caregiver in the home. If they don't, we have electronic caregiver with it. We can program to be in the home
wow.
and be able to help monitor them virtually. If some of them need a hybrid package to where they have a caregiver going in and helping them out, making their meals and doing certain things, and then the caregiver leaves, and then they're completely virtual. I also believe in collaboration, so I'm a big collaborator. So I don't believe that I have to own everything to make things happen. So with our company, we do a lot of collaboration. Our agency has partnered with teledocs, so we have a doctor 24 hours a day for all of our clients. We partner with a lab, so our clients, if they don't want to stay to the lab or go to the lab to get their blood drawn, they can get them to send it over. We can have someone go out to their home to get their labs for them. We partner with Mom's Meals. So
Wow.
if I have aid 3 days a week, the other 4 days we want to get our meals. Mom's Meals have a special package for our clients. Um, so we partner with quite a bit of people to make sure that the things that our clients need, they get. We partner with a pharmacy. The pharmacy that we use is licensed in all 50 states. They already prepackage our clients' medication. They deliver it to the door. We love that. Even when it comes to remote patient monitoring, if they need their blood sugars done, we give them a Bluetooth technology. We teach them how to use it so they can check their blood sugars, and their blood sugars come over to us. Um, yes, so we are big on acting before people. We want to try to reverse them. 90% of clients decline because they're not taking their medications and they're not following doctor's orders.
Mm, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so we want them in between there and see if we can keep them healthy and keep them at home and definitely keep them out of that nursing home. So nursing home is a bad place to be. So I work hard to try to keep our clients out of there.
And what is the name of your company again?
Karen Hart's Telecare.
Can
Caring.
Karen Hearts.
Yep, Caring Hearts Telecare.
And how long have you been an entrepreneur and in that particular business?
I've been an entrepreneur for 4 years. I've been our home care um agency has been open for 2 years. We had opened up, well, you might as well say three. We opened up before under Karen Hart Senior Living. So some
Mhm.
people might know us by that name. We end up taking Medicaid. I think we took Medicaid for about 10 months, and I said, oh
Mhm.
no, we have to close down, restructure, and do something different. So Medicaid, to me, and my opinion, it would be a good resource if they wanted it to be a good resource, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
Sometimes I think they offer things just to offer
to
it,
offer
but
it.
they
Yes,
don't care about utilizing the services like it should be.
exactly.
But it's for low income,
Yeah.
and they sometimes take months to pay us. They don't pay us enough, especially here in Virginia. I think when we first opened, Medicaid was paying $14.31 to home care agency,
Ooh.
um, which paying low, to me, messes up the quality of care and messes up the staff that comes to your agency.
Hmm.
Not saying that everybody is like that. Some people may not be. Some people might actually like their job to where it's okay as long as you treat them good. But from 14 years of nursing, um, I believe you have to pay for quality.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the one piece that I love that I can see here as an entrepreneur is understanding the benefits of collaboration. All
yes.
of those pieces that you spoke of that were connected. Um, uh, I want you to just address a little more. I found this to be interesting that you said that you patients can actually be at home and virtually you get them what they need. Just elaborate on that a little bit more.
Well, we get to know our clients on a personal level.
Okay.
So, depending on what they need, we put the technology in the home that is needed. If they have a virtual caregiver in there, we do customize the virtual caregiver, and we connect any Bluetooth devices that we can to that. So they might have a big LCD monitor in there with our virtual caregiver, and we
Okay.
program her to say certain things. If we want to ask them or talk to them about their meals or remind them about their meals, if when they check their blood sugar, they will actually see their blood sugar on the screen, and if it's a little too high, she's going to give them a little video and say what we can do to make that better, but that comes to us.
Wow.
Also, we are set up where we have social skills is very important. So we play games with them. We play virtual bingo and Kahoot. We do virtual paint night. Different things. And going into 2024, as we grow our virtual world, we plan it on having that to where we are making it like a virtual assistant living, to where we have activities from certain times, 7 days a week. So we're
Wow.
growing into that. So some changes will be having to be made.
Yes,
But as we grow, we're going to continue making the changes to make sure that the virtual experience becomes a good place for them, and hopefully change how home care is given.
that's awesome. And you said this comes from a background of being in the healthcare industry for over 14 years,
Yes, yes,
correct?
yes.
Um, in the beginning when we first started, and I said to you, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? You said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So let us in on some of the other things you do as a serial entrepreneur.
Yes. I author books. I'm also a loan officer as well. So the loan officer kind of fits into growing up, not knowing much about home ownership, not owning stuff, and us per se, we have low in home ownership and different things. So I want to be able to help people. So I became a loan officer with Capital Federal Credit Union. We have different programs where we can help people, and my goal is to educate us and bring us in people who thought that they were not able to ever buy a home, because we have people that said, I don't make enough money, or I can't get that credit right. We can help them get that credit right and get them in the home. If they don't make enough money, we do have programs for people with lower income, so they can be able to purchase their home. So I felt like that was part of my movement as well, especially since I'm connecting well with the community. So I'm into the mortgage
Yeah.
thing.
So is your community the DMV area?
Um, I'm licensed in all 50 states for the mortgage loan.
Okay.
All right. So, and my community here is wherever my people is really my community. I be going, but I'm here in Newport News, Virginia.
Yes.
So the Hampton Roads area, DMV is my area too. That's home. So I love home. So taking care of my people.
Listen, you have been just so awesome and interesting to speak to tonight. I could stay here and speak to you for other 2 hours with all of this knowledge and all this information. Would you let people know, because we were able to put your information up about your book and your writing. Is that email address still, if someone wanted to speak to you about the health care part of it, or if they wanted to speak to you about regarding the mortgage part, are they able to email you at that email address as well?
They can, but I'll give you my email address.
Go right ahead.
Also, I want to say too that we have a nonprofit called Karen Hearts Foundation. So if anybody feels the need that they want to donate, we have a program called Adopt a Senior Program. So that money goes for the seniors. If you adopt one of them, that money stays with them until they use it and need it. They know to contact us when they need to use it. They are notified when they are adopted to be able to use
Wow.
that money. Check us out on our website as well. So the website, if you are interested in the home care, is info@chtelecare.com. Or you can call our office at 757-782-2129. But we'll be gladly to help you.
Repeat the number, because I realize that my assistant is on here and she's capturing everything on here, and I want your phone number to get on here as well. So say it slowly so she can get it and type it in here. What is it?
Um 757
Seven
2129.
757 782
2129.
2129.
Yes, yes. And
757 782 2129 for
yeah.
this serial entrepreneur, and this woman that God has raised up for such a time as this to help so many people in so many different areas. Listen, every time someone comes to sit around the table, like I said, I never try to find out a whole lot of information about them at first. I like the surprise. I like to learn as everyone learn. And tonight, I feel like I've interviewed four people in one. Tonight, with because you're so well rounded, there's so much information. I just want to look over in the comments real briefly and see if there's anyone that's watching that's asking a question. Yes, your phone up. Thank you. She says this is amazing. Thank you so much. And license, she says, are you able to assist anyone in the Virgin Islands?
In the Virgin Islands,
Yes.
not right now. Right now, just in all 50 states in the U.S.
Okay. Well, the Virgin Islands is the U.S. St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. That's what she's speaking about. It is U.S.
Oh, okay.
It is the U.S.
Yeah,
So
long
she
as in the
says that
U.S. Yes.
you are amazing. Hashtag serial entrepreneur. And so we are just excited tonight that you took this time to come and sit around the table. So I am going to let you for the next 2 minutes just express yourself, because this is your show. What
Mhm.
is it that you would like someone to really know and take away at the end of this show about you? Now, listen, the show doesn't end when we come off. It is available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You are able to go and see the program there, as well as Dr. Iris has shared it out to her uh, base. And so you can go and you can re-listen to this. Make sure you have the information. I find the healthcare senior adopting part very, very interesting. I'm a senior. You know, a lot of people think that I'm this, but I'm a senior and I'm looking out for things that are coming my way that will assist me at my age right now. So I'm very interested in that. I have several friends that are in the healthcare field for seniors. I think it's really important now. and the type of service that you're providing, I think that it's just absolutely excellent. Again, your book is called Injustice. It is written as an anthology with other women, as well as next year you're going to be launching your own book. And so
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes in this space to just talk freely from your heart.
Yes. I want to say that support the movement if you can. If you have anybody that is faced with injustice, listen to them. It's not up for us to judge or believe, but give them an ear, listen to them. Um, Listening is a big part of it. Um, Also, in our foundation, Adopt a Care Senior, if you can support, we have seniors on there that are in need, helping with food. Sometimes some of them are independent, so they have their own housing. They don't get a lot of food stamps, so they run out of food before the end of the month. So we're working on programs for that as well. But our website to donate is seaheartsfoundation.org. Support. We have our second Injustice Conference, February the 10th, 2024, in the beautiful Williamsburg, Virginia. Tickets are on Eventbrite. Or contact me if you want to know how to get connected to get a ticket if you are in the Virginia area. I'm a Again, I'm a big supporter of collaboration. So we have another project called Home Care Around the Globe, where we're getting home care owners around the globe together to be a support system so we can learn how to respect, educate, empower, innovate each other. Because we are senior servants. So our first book, Home Care Around the Globe, will launch at our Home Care Around the Globe conference on February 24th, 2024. So I'm super excited about that as well. And we're also doing our big home care conference July 13th and 14th. So we're getting home care agency owners around the globe that want to fly in. We're going to learn together, educate each other, empower each other, and innovate. So we have companies in there with different technology and innovation that's going to teach us how we can innovate our home care companies. Most importantly, Saturday, we're doing our awards show. So if you know of a home care agency, maybe they care for your loved one that you want to nominate them for an award, please go to our website, chtelecare.com, go to Home Care Explosion and vote for them. If you know a caregiver that's giving extraordinary services, we're also awarding our caregivers. It's very important that they feel and know how important that what they're doing is for our senior community. So we are awarding them as well. Again, under chtelecare.com and go under Home Care Explosion, and you can nominate your favorite caregiver.
Oh, Dr. Iris, this was so refreshing tonight to speak to you. Listen, I was looking at the logo up close while I had you. Tell me a little bit about that logo.
Oh, oh God. I call myself the lion. Um, and a lot of people don't know that when the lion roars, you can hear it up to 6 feet when you actually using your voice. And because I was silenced for so long, and I decided to come out, and I came out like that lion. So it was important for me the way that lion jumped up there and had that fire out of their mouth. It kind of resembled of how I felt coming out into entrepreneurship and back. I feel like I'm back in reality a little bit. So I love the lion. The lion resembles me.
Yes, yes. And we know the lion is king. Well, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming on here and sitting with me around the table and sharing so much value with everything that you do. I am giving you an open invitation. If you ever want to come back, just inbox me and let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, tonight we have had the opportunity to sit and speak and interview Dr. Iris Wright. Her book is Injustice, and she has so much going on. Please go to my YouTube channel and you can play the replay and get this valuable information that she left for us about seniors, the information that she left for us about the movement and ways that you can help. I love the adopt a senior part that I think is absolutely great. I'm fascinated by all the things that you've done. I pray that God blesses you in everything that you are doing, and I am so excited that He has mended and healed your heart in such a way that you are now open to be able to help others. And so, thank you so very much for coming and sitting around the table with us tonight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
God bless you. And listen, we'll be back next Friday night with a other super exciting guest. Again, I am Vision Coach Apostle Alicia George, and I look forward to having you come on back next week. So until then, ta ta.